Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Just Start Talking podcast, the podcast that helps you improve your English skills with practical and everyday conversations. I'm Jody, and today we have a very useful topic: how to order food in a restaurant. Who doesn't want to feel more confident ordering food in a restaurant in English, right? If you love food and want to feel more self-assured when dining out, this episode is for you. We'll go over key phrases, pronunciation tips, and even practice a real conversation, like a role play. So, let's get started. Okay, let's begin with what happens when you first arrive at a restaurant. When you walk in, a host or hostess usually greets you. Here are some things they might say. Hello, welcome. How many people are in your party today? Do you have a reservation? Would you like a table inside or outside? Okay, and here's how you as the customer can respond. Hi, we have a reservation under the name Jody. Or, no, we don't have a reservation, but we'd like a table for two, please. Can we sit by the window? All right, here's a pro tip. Remember to say please and thank you. Politeness is always appreciated in any language. Okay, so once you are seated, the server will usually hand you a menu. Sometimes the menus have a lot of options, and it's okay to ask questions. Here are some useful phrases. What do you recommend? What are today's specials? Does this dish have meat? I'm a vegetarian. Could I see the drinks menu, please? Or, do you have any gluten-free options? And if you're not sure how to pronounce the name of a particular dish, you can just ask, how do you pronounce this? Or, can you describe this to me? Or maybe even just if you decide you want the item, just point and say, I'd like this, please. I've done this numerous times when dining out. So, now it's time to place your order. When you're ready to order, the server might ask you, are you ready to order? What would you like to have? Or, how would you like your steak cooked? And here's how you can respond. I'll have the grilled salmon, please. Or, can I get a cheeseburger with no onions? Or, I'd like the pasta with extra cheese, please. And could I have a side of fries with that? And just so you know, I'll have and I'd like are polite ways to order. You don't want to say, give me a burger. Say, I'd like a burger, please. It just sounds so much nicer and so much more polite. All right, now let's talk about drinks and special requests. Some common phrases here. Can I have a glass of water, please? I'd like a coffee with milk, please. Or, could you possibly make it less spicy? Could you bring some extra napkins? And if you want to be even more polite, you can say, would it be possible to? So for example, would it be possible to get my salad dressing on the side? Now, sometimes problems happen, and also we definitely need to be able to ask for the check. You know, sometimes things don't always go as planned. And here's how to handle some of these problems politely. Excuse me, I think this might be the wrong order. Sorry, but my food is cold. Could you heat it up? Or, I think I asked for no mushrooms, but there seems to be mushrooms in my dish. Can you fix that? Again, always be polite. Mistakes can happen, and the server is usually always going to be happy to help you if you're nice. Finally, when you're ready to leave, you need to ask for the bill. Here's what you can say. Could we have the check, please? Or, can I pay by card? Or, do you accept cash? Or is it only credit cards? And just so you know, in some countries, tipping is expected. For example, if you're in the United States, leaving a tip of 15 to 20% of the total is common. To handle this, you can say, can I add a tip to my card payment? Or would you prefer cash for the tip? Now it's time to do a short practice conversation. Kind of like a role play. Those are fun, right? Try to follow along and imagine yourself in the same situation, ordering food in a restaurant in English. It doesn't have to be scary. So let's practice this and see what happens. So the first thing, the server says, hello, welcome to Bella's Bistro. Do you have a reservation? And then the customer, that's you by the way, no, we don't have a reservation, but we'd like a table for two, please. And then the server says, of course, right this way. Here are some menus. Can I get you something to drink? And then the customer says, yes, of course. I'd like a lemonade, please. And the server says, great choice. The lemonade here is wonderful. And are you ready to order now? I'm happy to take your order. And you, the customer, this is your chance to say, yes. I'll have a grilled chicken with a side of vegetables. And the server says, would you like anything else? No, that's all for now. Thank you. And the server says, you're welcome. Your food will be out shortly. Now, you can try practicing this conversation with a friend or even by yourself in front of the mirror. It's easy, and it's always fun to order food in a restaurant in English. Now, that's all for today's episode of the Just Start Talking podcast. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned something. And I hope you found this lesson helpful. Remember, practice makes perfect. So don't be afraid to try these phrases the next time you go to a restaurant and need to order in English. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your friends. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.